shoes. This is what I came here to do. I walk that wire and I take that step. Won't look down, got no regrets. Won't look down, got no regrets. I was made for this. I was made for this. Born in the wild, formed in the fire, built for the battle. Oh, I was made for this. I was made for this. Mind over matter, silence the doubters. I have the power. Oh, I was made for this.
Are we live? I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this special episode tonight. I've been out getting the Cult for Congress booth set up at the Grant County Fairgrounds today, and I just wanted to hop on here and share my feelings with you about what is going on in our world right now. Biden's handling of the Afghanistan situation is yet again another failure of both Republican and Democrat establishment elements in our elected public servants, right? A nation who fails to learn from the misdeeds of our past is doomed to repeat them. Remember, in 1975, the United States pulled out of Vietnam because Washington, D.C. lacked the political courage to, first of all, allow our fighting forces to fight and win, and second of all, structure a controlled withdrawal from the country, right? Just 3 years later, in 1978 and in 1979, President Carter ignored the threat of radical Muslim elements to our only Middle Eastern ally in the region. The fall of Iran to radical Muslims took Carter by surprise, and thousands upon thousands of people died as a result, and Americans were taken hostage. When a president of strength took office, President Reagan, they were released because strength is the only thing our enemies understand, right? I was serving in the military at that time. The situation we have now will lead to yet another ally being abandoned to our nation's enemies. And I'm talking about Taiwan, something a lot of people aren't talking about right now. But the Chinese Communist Party sees that the United States has no political courage or appetite to engage in another war. And they know we have an extremely weak and friendly to them leader in the White House. In the coming months, I will not be surprised when China invades Taiwan, and you shouldn't be either. The only thing that's kept Taiwan free up to this point is the United States of America. So how did we get here? How did we get from a relatively stable world stage negotiated by President Trump to a world on fire in 7 short months? I'm sure you've all seen the videos of what's going on right now. We're at this place in our history because our elected public servants on both sides of the aisle colluded together to remove a man from office who placed American interests above the business dealings of special interests, the military-industrial complex, and foreign powers. We are at this place in history because we are being led by leaders so incompetent and weak that other nations no longer fear us. We're at this place in history because good people like you watching me right now were lied to and tricked by charlatans and liars into believing that they had our best interest in heart, and it's been going on for decades. But nothing could be further from the truth. You know, you can tell a lot about the character of a man by the actions he takes and the interests he represents. The question facing the voters in Washington's 4th Congressional District is simple. Do you trust the sitting congressman, a man who stood shoulder to shoulder with the radical Democrats numerous times against the America First agenda and President Trump? Do you trust that person to represent your voice in Washington, D.C.? Our congressman and the never-Trump Republican establishment, which he is a part of, help the most radical elements of the Democrat Party, like Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, and the others to block the America First policies that brought peace to the Middle East for the first time in decades. What we are seeing transpire over the last 72 hours are the results of the incompetence of the Biden-Harris administration and the establishment Republicans who aided the Democrats in putting and keeping them in power. I will never believe the most conservative district in Washington state would support a public servant who sided with Democrats in trying to ensure that President Trump never ever serves another day in office by voting to impeach him and then to create the January 6th commission. Representative Newhouse did both of those things. So where do we go from here? With so many challenges facing our nation from foreign powers, from terrorists, from communism, COVID lockdowns, forced vaccinations, critical race theory, fraud in our elections, bad actors within what is supposed to be the conservative Republican Party, and a multitude of other threats, it almost seems overwhelming sometimes, doesn't it? You know, a lot of people would say that, you know, there's no reason to fight back. A lot of people would say there's no way that we can win, that we're already lost. And I want you to know that I believe these people are wrong. They are dead wrong. I believe in the American people. Now is the time to fight back. Now is the time to push back and refuse to comply. Now is the time to peacefully fight back in the courthouses, the schoolhouses, the council meetings, the ballot boxes, and refuse to be refused. Our founders were not people of fear. They were men and women of such remarkable courage that a nation of ordinary people who achieved extraordinary accomplishments was born. These men and women stood up upon moral principles without hesitation. They knew that they were right, and they knew that they had God on their side. They bled and died to eliminate rule under a king. They bled and died to eliminate the horrors of slavery. They developed industry and commerce. These men and women built buildings that touched the sky while refusing to allow communism, fascism, socialism, authoritarianism to darken our door. We are born from them. We are them, and now is our time to stand up. Now is our moment in history to ensure that individual freedom and liberty is not extinguished. Now is the time to stand up and find our voices and learn to say the word no. Not now, not ever, just no. We are free Americans. And I'm asking you today to join us in our fight to remove a bad actor from among congressional public servants. I'm asking you to support your local candidates who represent your values, America First values. I'm asking you to get involved in the fight to save the soul of not just Washington State, but the United States of America. We are the last place where people from all around the world flee to. This is it. If not you, then who? God bless America, you guys. Good night.